Big week for Palantir, continuing to rack up deals, especially from their government side of the business, but still millions from commercial too, and many more pieces of news throughout the week. So, looking at the stock first, looks like Palantir was going to end up a bit flat for the week, but actually pulled off a tiny rally to close off Friday into the $37 range. But still, this is obviously after that large run up recently, and a decent bit here where they're still holding into the mid $30 range. Now, first to kick off the week, Bank of America released another report regarding their thoughts on Palantir's AIP 5Con event. So no surprise here, they continue to keep their buy rating with the $50 price target, which is the highest of all the analysts at the moment. But essentially their thoughts around Palantir have been reinforced by the latest AIP Con, where they continue to be optimistic on their growth and go-to-market strategy with the AIP bootcamps. They even point out some specific customer presentations that they liked related to warp speed and the reindustrialization of America's manufacturing space, where they continue to see them as the non-traditional SaaS play, showing off real ways to get value from AI today. Then next, Palantir released one of their unseen presentations from AIPCon 5 as well, presented by AT&T, who is a massive customer for them and have been working with them for a while. Essentially, Palantir has allowed them to scale and deal with the huge footprint of the telegiant, and pointed out some stats like leveraging thousands of data sources, hundreds of use cases, and thousands of unique monthly users, which just shows how vital Palantir is needed for their operations today and still expanding. So it'll be cool to see other telecom giants need to jump on the wagon as well to ensure that they can keep up, because Palantir is touching areas of the company from setting up new work sites, suppliers, and even coordinating everything in between. So very, very busy here at AT&T. The next I'd say is one of the highlights of the week to me personally. Palantir released a press release on their deal with Nebraska Medicine, where they first pointed out them as a $2.5 billion partner, probably from their assets or revenue as a nonprofit, but also pleasantly surprised to see them release some info about the deal being multi-million and multi-year. Typically, we've seen sparse details from previous press releases on these commercial customers, so I'd say it's a win-win for investors to get at least a ballpark amount and time frame, especially from a healthcare customer like them. But even better is that they already provided stats on how Palantir has made a difference in the short amount of time that they've been working together, and that's just since the beginning of the year in January. They've implemented new workflows into production in less than 6 weeks, while discovering and introducing new ones within 90 minutes, to also having a 2,000% plus increase in discharge lounge utilizing, freeing up more beds for patients, while also decreasing the time frame from discharge order to the actual patient discharge by 1 hour on average. And even bigger, they sent more than 1,200 AI-powered appeal letters in less than 3 months to payers, where they're going after their money more efficiently at volume, as well as responding to claims denials to thwart bad behaviors from these payers, spanning this to more use cases like predicting beds for the operating room and post-anesthesia care unit. So I love how much detail they provided in this press release, and hopefully this is only a small piece of what's to come for the healthcare partners to wake up other sleeping giants maybe to do the same thing at their organizations. Now, on to everyone's dreaded subject, insider selling, and for some reason, folks were really going after Karp this week for his trading plan, but for all their transactions this week, Palantir disclosed, first, we get some pocket change for the company with a couple forms this week where they continue to offload shares of Surf Air Mobility as well as Rubicon. So it's not much money in the grand scheme of things for these two holdings, so we'll continue to look out for larger transactions. Then we've got David Stat, who's the spouse for Lauren Stat, selling off 6,000 shares in the $36 range. And what got all the attention this week, like I mentioned, which is covered in that dedicated video for context, is Al's Karp, selling off 9.2 million shares, all in the $36 and $37 range. Now, if you look at his remaining Class A shares, he has 6.4 million remaining, but going to his remaining holdings below, he has 132 million employee stock options right to buy, and then 48.696 million Class B common stock. So do as you please with this information, but selling off 9.2 million shares when he has been consistent with his trading plan shows, to me at least in my personal opinion, no ill will of quote-unquote dumping the Palantir stock onto investors, but you're free to believe otherwise. Now, we also got an unexpected surprise of the Maven system getting an expansion of their user base, leading to a $100 million contract over 5 years. Now, the initial release that we saw in defense.gov was pretty sparse on details, but a couple days later, Palantir themselves released a press release with a bit more information. Essentially, they explained how this is a result of growing demand for the Maven Smart system, which improved interoperability between strategic and tactical operations within the military departments, as well as increased readiness for building on top of the DoD's investments for joint interoperability and fight tonight capabilities. And Maven provides the following to power the CDAO's CJAD C2 initiatives. So as always, it's just nice to continue adding up on these deals for Palantir, where it shows how they can continue growing demand for their built-out projects already, leading to these expansions of the user base. And to break up the regular news, we get another flip-flop from Jim Kramer this week on Mad Money that caught a lot of attention, honestly, and probably intentionally he did this considering he's in the media business, but he called them a cold or cult stock again from what I heard, but calling them also a meme stock, and that right now the stock just has momentum just because of individual investors like retail, and they keep on piling into it essentially. And it's not really even a stock that he says, and it's just a barometer of enthusiasm of some business that may or may not be doing well, and he wishes there were more to it. Now, I wish there was something of substance here to at least think about. We should already know how the game goes, of course, from Jim Kramer. This is similar to the previous statements, honestly, of calling Palantir a bunch of press releases way back when. I just see it as entertainment, and I'm obviously feeding into it just by covering it, but it still perks up ears from investors when Palantir shows up on CNBC. Then Palantir switches gears a bit here, making a sign up available for a chance to attend their developer con, and this is only to 150 invite-only developers, and that's to get together for workshops, building, competition, all those things that you associate with trying to get hands-on experience with their products. And even if it's not the flashy, draw-in customers and making money revenue kind of event, it's still a crucial part of growing their business because customers signing on need to have folks actually using the software. C-suite can say yes, but the boots on the ground will be making a difference. And the more effective folks get with AIP and Foundry, then actually the better the value it is for enterprises to actually become customers. And I mentioned this before, that this can reduce the risk of signing on to Palantir if this makes its way eventually to becoming a more common skill set, at least among the pool of candidates that employers are looking to fill those jobs. So I hope to see more things around Palantir building their developer community over time. And then we get a huge 25-page Palantir guide on their work with the NHS FDP platform. They partnered up with the UK's organization Patients Association, and they go into a good amount of detail on how they've researched a topic, like who they asked the methodology, as well as going over the common questions and asks from the public and what they actually want out of the NHS when they're working with Palantir. And I put together a separate video covering the cool stats provided from Palantir answering questions, but also providing how they've already improved the NHS significantly for certain use cases. So check it out when you have a chance, but I'm definitely excited to see how much they can improve with more runway over time, and maybe we'll eventually see that disclosed officially like this here too, ready for the public to consume and maybe even change some minds about Palantir working with the NHS. So another busy week in the books. What are your thoughts below? And I'll see you in the next video.